Welcome to True Fear Files, where we uncover the darkest and most chilling true stories that the world tried to forget. I'm your host, and tonight, we're going back to a quiet little town in Iowa, where one night in 1912 changed everything. A night when 8 people, including 6 children, were brutally murdered in their beds. And the killer? Never caught. Never identified, never brought to justice. Imagine this. You wake up in the middle of the night. You hear footsteps downstairs. You think maybe someone in your family got up for water. But then the footsteps come upstairs, slowly, deliberately. You hear your bedroom door creak open, and that's the last thing you ever hear. This is the story of the Villisca Axe Murders, one of the most horrifying unsolved crimes in American history. And I'm warning you, this one will stay with you long after this video ends. June 9th, 1912. Villisca, Iowa. A small, quiet town where everyone knew everyone. It was the kind of place where people didn't lock their doors, where children played freely in the streets, where violent crime was almost unheard of. The Moore family lived in a modest white house on the edge of town. Josiah Moore, age 43, was a successful businessman. His wife, Sarah, was 39. They had 4 children: Herman, 11, Catherine, 10, Boyd, 7, and Paul, 5. That evening, the Moore family attended a church event. The children performed in a program that night, and afterward, 2 young girls, Lena and Ina Stillinger, asked if they could spend the night at the Moore house. Sarah Moore agreed. The girls, ages 12 and 8, were excited. It was supposed to be a fun sleepover. The family returned home around 10 p.m. The house was dark and quiet. Everyone went to bed, and sometime between midnight and 5 a.m., someone entered the house with an axe. The next morning, a neighbor named Mary Peckham noticed something strange. The Moore family hadn't come out of the house. The curtains were drawn. No one answered the door. She called Josiah's brother, Ross Moore, who had a key to the house. When Ross entered, he found a scene of unimaginable horror. Every single person in the house had been murdered, all 8 of them. Josiah and Sarah were in their bed, their heads bludgeoned beyond recognition. The 4 more children were in their rooms, each one killed in their sleep. And in the downstairs guest room, Lena and Ina Stillinger, the 2 little girls who had just wanted a sleepover, were also dead. All of them had been struck with the blunt side of an axe, multiple times, with such force that their skulls were crushed. But here's what makes this case even more disturbing. The killer didn't just murder them, he stayed in the house for hours. After the murders, the killer did something chilling. He covered every mirror in the house with clothing. Every single one. Why? Some believe the killer didn't want to see his own reflection. Others think it was part of a ritual. Then he covered the faces of the victims with bed sheets and clothing. He didn't want to look at them either. In the kitchen, investigators found evidence that the killer had made himself food. He ate, calmly, while 8 bodies lay upstairs. He also filled a bowl with water and washed his hands, cleaning the blood off. The axe used in the murders was found in the guest room, leaning against the wall. It belonged to Josiah Moore. The killer had taken it from the shed outside. Investigators also found a piece of bacon on the floor and a kerosene lamp with the chimney off, as if the killer had used it to see in the dark, but didn't want to make too much light. The sheer calmness, the methodical nature of the killer's actions, suggested this wasn't a crime of passion. This was planned, controlled, and absolutely terrifying. When news of the murders spread, the entire town of Villisca was thrown into panic. Who could have done this, and why? The murders were so brutal, so senseless, that no one could comprehend it. Investigators descended on the small town, but almost immediately, the case was mishandled. Hundreds of people, including curious townspeople, walked through the crime scene before it could be properly secured. Evidence was contaminated. Fingerprints were smudged. Any chance of finding forensic evidence was lost. The Reverend Lynn George Kelly quickly became a suspect. He had been at the church event that night and had acted strangely afterward. Some said he had an unhealthy interest in the Stillinger girls. He was arrested, tried twice, but both trials ended in hung juries. There wasn't enough evidence to convict him. He was eventually released. Another suspect was a man named Henry Moore, no relation to the victims. He was a suspected serial killer who traveled across the Midwest. Some believed he was responsible for several other axe murders in the region during the same time period. But again, there was no concrete evidence linking him to the Villisca murders. Then there was Frank Jones, a wealthy businessman and a former employer of Josiah Moore. The two had a bitter falling out, and some believe Jones hired someone to kill the Moore family as revenge. A man named William Mansfield, who worked for Jones, was also investigated. But once again, no charges were ever filed. The case went cold, and it has remained unsolved for over 110 years. Let's talk about the theories, because there are several. Theory 1, Reverend Kelly. He was obsessed with the Stillinger girls and may have followed them to the Moore house that night. He killed everyone to eliminate witnesses. But why would a reverend commit such a horrific act? And why was there no physical evidence? Theory 2, Henry Moore, the serial killer. In the early 1900s, there was a string of similar axe murders across the Midwest. Entire families killed in their sleep, all unsolved. Could they have been the work of one man? It's possible. But investigators could never definitively link the cases. Theory 3, Frank Jones and William Mansfield. Jones wanted revenge on Josiah Moore, so he paid Mansfield to do the killing. Some evidence supported this theory. Mansfield was seen in the area. He had a history of violence, but there was never enough to charge him. Theory 4, a drifter or stranger. Some believe the killer was a random transient who stumbled into Villisca, committed the murders, and disappeared. The problem with this theory is the calmness of the crime. This didn't feel random. It felt personal. Theory 5, someone in the town. This is the darkest theory, that the killer was someone the Moore family knew, someone who attended church with them, someone who lived in Villisca and went on to live a normal life, carrying the secret of what they did that night. The Villisca Axe Murder House still stands today. After the murders, no one wanted to live there. It sat empty for years. Eventually, it was purchased and turned into a museum. Today, people can tour the house. Some even stay overnight. And many visitors report strange occurrences. Footsteps, doors closing on their own, the sound of children crying. Paranormal investigators have flocked to the house, claiming it's one of the most haunted locations in America. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, there's no denying the house carries a heavy, dark energy, the kind that comes from unimaginable tragedy. To this day, the Villisca Axe murders remain unsolved. 8 people, including 6 innocent children, were brutally killed in their sleep, and their killer was never caught. Was it the Reverend, the serial killer, a hired assassin, or someone much closer to home? We may never know. But one thing is certain. On the night of June 10th, 1912, evil walked into that house, and it walked out uncaught. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you want more terrifying true crime stories like this. And let me know in the comments, who do you think killed the Moore family? Until next time, stay safe, and maybe lock your doors tonight.